Wasn't fun Saturday night, though. What was certainly a letdown for a lot of people.
It was so disappointing, mainly because we played the first game with 0 penalties.
Yeah.
Tied a school record. I don't even know if we ever had a game I coached here in 12 years of 0 penalties. But so it looked like we were well disciplined. We knew how to play the game. And then all of a sudden, I think we had 11 or 12. And it took away some good plays and gave South Florida a chance to score. So the stupid penalty plays and this, that, and the other probably is big a reason we lost the game rather than effort and all that. I thought we had pretty good effort by most of the players all the way around. Obviously, coaches always can look back, but we had 2 touchdowns taken away due to penalties.
Another Dooley Noted podcast comes to you from the Coaches Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, and welcome into another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Coach Spurrier will be in today. Obviously, Robbie Andreu for Yes, Nowhere, Maybe. We're scheduled to have Peter Burns on Thursday. I'm waiting to hear back from him on something because he's getting ready to head to Baton Rouge to watch that game as an LSU fan. And he and Chris will have a good bet. Chris Doring will have a good bet. I went to the game Saturday. It was ridiculously humid and hot. I don't know. I'm an old man. I don't need to be walking all over the place, going to tailgates. And, it was pretty brutal for me. Also, we got charged $72 by a guy on one of those bikes. And I don't know why I paid him. I shouldn't have paid him. My wife said, "Why are you paying him?" I said, "Well, he said that's how much it is." We went two minutes on the bike. I don't think I'll be going to a lot of games as long as it's 1,000 degrees on the doorstep of the sun, which is what it felt like Saturday. Now, if Florida wins a game, they look good. I'm probably not complaining as much, but everybody's complaining today. There are not many people who won't complain about what happened on Saturday. So let's get to our Royal Blues starting 5. I did get a text from Randy Royal. Saw him over there Thursday at the Palaca Gator Club. Great to see him. Had a shot of tequila with him, which is our tradition. One of the great dudes out there. And obviously, he wasn't happy. Nobody was happy. I got all kinds of texts, and look, I get it. Nobody's happy. You know who's not happy? Me. So let's get to our Royal Blues starting 5. And number 1 is Florida, completely out of the polls now. USF is 18th. And USF should have been ranked before. And they're a better team than I thought. At the same time, the game was there. Florida just blew it. They blew the whole game in so many ways. There are 4 Power 5 teams in this state that are unbeaten. Florida's not one of them. I got to say, it's a little bit embarrassing what happened. And I'm not taking anything away from USF, just like Billy was not trying to take anything away from USF. But when you lose a game like that and your defense, which is played okay. But here's the thing. Everybody was like, the defense played his butt off. And we gave up 18 points. Yeah, and you should win the game when you only give up 18. Yeah, you should. But not if your coach is trying to keep it at a 18 to 20 game or whatever, 20 to 18 game. That's the point. There's a little Doug Dickey and Billy Napier. And Doug Dickey got fired basically because his motto was avoid losing versus try to win by a lot. The guy we're going to have in here just to talk about this game, Coach Spurrier, never backed off, never stepped off the gas. There's a lot of things we can complain about. There's an elephant in the room, which is play calling. Now, I will say this, and Chris Doring broke this down on SEC radio and TV today, and he was showing 3 plays that were great play calls, and they didn't work. One, bad throw from the one to Livingston. He should have made a better throw there, and he threw off He literally, neither foot was planted. He just threw the ball with his arm. And I think he's done too much of that. Now, the one to Wilson for the touchdown to put him ahead was a nice throw, and it was, again, kind of that way where he wasn't really planning. Look, I know a lot of people are frustrated with a lot of things. Here's the thing I'm the most frustrated with. When a coach says that, 11 penalties was out of character for us. And I'm like, since when? Since when? You were 83rd in the country in penalties last year. That's not good. You've never been lower or higher than 50th in penalties in your 4 years here. Right now, I think I don't even know what they are, like 67th or whatever, because they had no penalties against Long Island. And like I said, back if you listen to me, you don't have to hold Long Island guys. You don't have to chop block them. You don't have to, and you certainly don't have to spit on them, okay? It is a bad place to be if you're a Florida fan right now. And let's get to number 2 on our Royal Blue starting 5, which is the time management issue at the end of the game. Look, I think it's pretty obvious that, and again, maybe I'm just reading too much into comments that are made, that DJ Lagway checked into the throw on the first play after they get the ball back with the lead. All you got to do is get a first down, maybe 2, and the game's over. He checked out of it, but I don't think you should add that option. I know that's your offense, but don't do it. They were in the box. They had 8 in the box. There's no doubt that is the play that you would check off to in a normal moment in a college football game. Not at that moment. You got to just run the ball. If you get no yards, you get no yards, but you take time off the clock. 28 seconds went off the clock during Florida's possession. We're sitting here with a team that found a way to commit 11 crucial penalties. All of them were huge. The spitting penalty, did you not watch the game on Thursday night? I assume you did. Did you think that was cool? Jalen Carter's going to get, I don't even know what his suspension is going to be. If it was up to me, Brendan Betts would not be on the trip to Baton Rouge, but that's my opinion. I would not allow him to play in this game, and I know you need him, and I know your job's on the line, and I know that, and I've seen coaches do that, and sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't, but it's not like he'd be the first coach to play a guy that probably shouldn't have played. One of the most successful coaches in Florida history did that often, and Urban Meyer. Aaron Hernandez, I've told that story. Aaron Hernandez shows up the Saturday morning of a game, doesn't even come to the hotel. They play him because they needed him to win. I get it. I get that part, but I think there's a point where you have to say, hey, well, first of all, I'm waiting to hear. I guess I haven't checked my phone a bit. I would assume he's suspended for the first half of that game because when you get kicked out for a personal foul, I think you are. But maybe I'm wrong about that. It doesn't really matter. And I will say this, too. This game felt more winnable after you found out what happened with LSU. I'm talking about the LSU game because they lost their starting center and their tight end, who's a big part of their offense. Now, I don't know. I assume they're out for the game. They're having MRIs today. We'll find out. But now, I don't think anybody feels like Florida is going to win that game. They are 9.5-point underdogs, in case you're wondering. All right, let's move along. One more thing I'll talk about with the Gators. And my question is this, and I'm asking this sincerely. Can they win another game? Now, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, but what game do you look at and go, oh, they're winning that, there's no question. Mississippi State, which just beat Arizona State, a playoff team from last year. Now, I know that they were at home, and this game will be is that the game you're going to point at? Kentucky? At Kentucky? What other game do you think they're going to win? It is There is a long way to go in this season. We know that. It just feels empty to have your season over after 2 games. On September 8th, you're sitting here and you're going to have to deal. And believe me, I got the call from Kubalik and McElroy. I knew it was coming when Florida lost that game. Sure enough, I'm going on their show tomorrow. And, I mean, I'll just tell it like it is. You can't have 11 penalties in a game like that. You can't be that bad in the red zone. You can't have a defense that played so good, but you got 1 possession in the first half. So how good did they really play? They let USF stay on the field. And then the second half, they forced some punts, but the offense couldn't do anything. And then when the game was on the line, 87 yards, they drove to kick the chip shot field goal. It is depressing. I will say this. And I don't think Gator fans deserve this. And you know me. I love that little saying of mine. Nobody suffers winning like Gator fans. You know what? Everybody suffers losing like Gator fans. Everybody is miserable when they lose a game like that, and when they're faced with it on a yearly basis. Why can't Florida get it right in football? School that got it right for so long. Spurrier, even Zook wasn't this bad. Zook had the worst luck in the world. This isn't about luck. This is about a guy who's not doing a very good job. I'm not saying anybody should be fired, but I'm just saying I don't see where you're going to get the wins. I don't see where you're going to win enough games to go to a bowl game, let alone the playoffs. Playoffs? Remember we were talking about playoffs? If they can just get to 9 wins. Okay, well, it would have been nice to beat South Florida. Anyway, I can go all day on this, and I probably will be for a while. Let's get to number 4 on our Royal Blues starting 5, and that is, yes, the Gators tried to ruin college football for me, and they came real close. But I did watch a little bit of NFL, and I certainly, that game last night, if you didn't see it, the Bills-Ravens game was incredible. The Bills scoring 16 straight points at the end of the game to win the game. Instant classic. Felt like a playoff game, and I said, you know why? Because they'll be in the playoffs against each other. People are going to make way too big a deal out of it. The end result, the Ravens can't win the big game. Come on, man. It was game 1 of the season. Now, I will say this. I'm surprised that I thought both teams had better defenses, but good game. Certainly good weekend for most of the state teams. 2 of them won. I'm not going to mention the other one. But it was a lot of fun to watch the NFL and kind of cleanse yourself of what happened over the weekend. Let's get to number 5 on our Royal Blues starting 5, which is, of course, is our Christine and Steve Wendig present the Olympic sport Gator of the weekend, and we do this every Monday. I'm looking forward to seeing Steve and Christine at the Fighting Gator Touchdown Club. I'm speaking. I got a busy week. Tuesday at the Florida Club, the Gainesville Quarterback Club, and then Thursday at the Fighting Gator Touchdown Club. And I'm going to say all the same things I'm saying here. But anyway, Olympic Gator of the Week, brought to you by Christine and Steve Wendig, is Taylor Parks, volleyball. 35 assists and 10 digs. They shut out Ohio State. I guess Ohio State's not real good this year. And that's, look, you got to go win those matches. And this is what you do against teams that aren't good in any sport. You win, and you win, and you win comfortably. It doesn't matter whether anybody says, hey, you didn't play that good. Okay, just win. Anyway, they play their next match is at North Carolina. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But it's certainly off to a good start. 4-1 with the new coach, Ryan Thies, I think it is, Thies, whatever it is. Anyway, he's doing a good job. They've only lost 1 game so far. But they're doing good. So Taylor Parks is our Olympic athlete, a Gator of the week, and brought to you by Steve and Christine Wendig. Did I get all that out? I mean, it just felt like the words weren't coming out of my mouth. Here's words that will come out of my mouth. Steve Spurrier and Robbie Andreu are coming up next, so you can't beat that. We'll be back with more of another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Coach, you know, it always impressed me how you beat Florida State to win the 1996 National Championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You know, you won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, 100% agave, Los Landeros tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean head beer coach, 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros tequila, smooth enough to drink neat and bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Landeros tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Landeros.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
Hey, let's talk about something that's been a real game changer for many people, including me. BMI TeleMed is one of our sponsors. They're the weight loss specialists and can help you tackle that stubborn belly fat. You know, the kind that usually creeps up once you hit your 40s. Bob Parado and Charlie Gonzalez, two UF-trained pharmacists, work with their medical director to prescribe and deliver the same meds that helped me lose 50 pounds. Yep, 50 pounds. That belly fat, it's not just about looks. It's unhealthy and makes you feel sluggish. So now's the time to do something about it before spring and summer roll around. If you're anywhere in Florida, BMI TeleMed, simple online telehealth platform makes it easy. Your weight loss meds get delivered right to your door fast. From my experience, you feel full sooner, eat less, but can keep enjoying the foods that you love, just in smaller portions. Plus, it helps with blood sugar and cravings. Do yourself a favor, head to bmitelemed.com to set up a free private consultation. No obligations, no contracts. These Gators know their stuff. You'll look better, feel better, and be healthier. Visit bmitelemed.com today. Okay, and welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Meldon Law, also the sponsor of Meldon Mondays when Coach Spurrier's on. And we love having him. It's always fun. Wasn't fun Saturday night, though. Was certainly a letdown for a lot of people.
It was so disappointing, mainly because we played the first game with 0 penalties.
Yeah.
Tied a school record. I don't even know if we ever had a game I coached here in 12 years of 0 penalties. But so it looked like we were well disciplined. We knew how to play the game. And then all of a sudden, I think we had 11 or 12. And it took away some good plays and gave South Florida a chance to score. So the stupid penalty plays and this, that, and the other probably is big a reason we lost the game rather than effort and all that. I thought we had pretty good effort by most of the players all the way around. Obviously, coaches always can look back, but we had 2 touchdowns taken away due to penalties. One of them we were holding. I think that was evident. But the other one was sort of
I thought that was a bad call.
That was a bad,
yeah,
a lot of people said that was a bad call, but maybe the guy could have called it. But usually if you just bump into somebody, that's not a big deal.
But he's running his route. He's running kind of a bend route. I mean, you know the terminology better than I do. And he's just clearing out somebody. But the guy is grabbing onto him. I mean, it's I thought that was a bad call, but that's not why they lost. They lost the game because they didn't score enough touchdowns in the red zone, and the defense did not do well when they needed to. At the end of the game, 87-yard drive for the winning field goal.
That was surprising. Of course, we had the ball with, 2.5 minutes?
Yeah.
And I think 2 or 3 first downs might have ended it.
Sure.
And
Would have, yeah.
we took 27 seconds off the clock. I think 2
Yeah, it
incompletes
was,
and one
I
run.
wrote it down here. I think it's 20, it was 28. Okay,
28, yeah.
seconds.
But then we thought our defense could hold
Yeah.
them, but then had that stupid spitting penalty that has become
I guess it's a fashion,
It's
yeah.
a fashion NFL, so maybe he saw an NFL guy do it. And
He said, I can do that.
I can do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. No,
But-
I hope not, but that was ridiculous. Again,
Have you ever had anybody spit on you?
No, that never happened. Any of my teams, for or against.
Yeah.
People just didn't spit back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, or whatever.
It seems odd that happened. Again, this is a transfer kid from Baylor who had actually played really well in the game up to that point. He was making a lot of plays, but, I mean, that was a big penalty. But, look, everybody's to be blamed. I mean, I don't want to say to put the blame on it, but people, but it's a team loss. To me, that's what it felt like when you have 11 penalties. Your 2 all-SEC offensive linemen had 2 huge penalties in that game. And I almost said Anthony Richardson, but obviously DJ Lagway had the rust still on, and that pass they could have scored in the first drive. Those that over Tony Livingston's head can't catch it because it's not well placed, and that was frustrating.
I heard someone mention Notre Dame lost their second game of the season last year to Northern Illinois.
Yep, they did.
And they went to the finals of the playoff.
Yeah.
So it's not all lost yet. It was just disappointing game, very discouraging. But as Coach Napier said, I think most of our errors are correctable. So we'll find out in the days to come, the games to come.
Well, and I mean, obviously you got to go to LSU. LSU's down a couple of players that got hurt. So I think the game would have been potentially a winnable game, but if they don't clean up those things, they've got to clean them up right away. You can't wait till the open date this year like you did last year. You've got to clean it up right away. And, I mean, you guys had a lot of penalties when you were the coach at Florida, but you didn't care. Remember you had the drive at Georgia where Dorian caught 3 touchdown passes because he got called back for the first.
Yeah, but we didn't have a lot of penalties. No. That game, Dorian caught 3 touchdowns on one drive because he stepped out of bounds, and Danny, I think, ran out of bounds and threw one or something. They were accidental. There wasn't holding or things like that. But no, we didn't have a lot of penalties.
Well, you
occasionally, but not. We didn't. They didn't bother us. Put it that way. They didn't bother us.
You overcame them with offense, and that was the key. And I think that's where a lot of Gator fans want to see more offense, want to see a better offense, and that's the issue that I think a lot of them have right now. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes the rest of the way. And now we're talking about the SEC and some teams have done really well. Vanderbilt's now undefeated.
Did we punt 6 times in the second half?
No.
6 out of 7.
He said that.
Yeah, but that wasn't right.
He said that, but that wasn't right. They only punted 4 times,
Okay.
but one of them was a snap over the head.
Oh, okay.
So that's 5 punts they lined up for, but it wasn't 6. It was because they scored on one and they had the pick on one.
That's right.
And here's a weird thing about that. Because there was lightning in the area, ESPN or FCC Network had to pull most of their cameras out. So they only had 3 cameras on the game. So, I looked at the replay, and it looked like he trapped the ball. But, again, it's not about that. It's about you not showing up and playing at the highest level. And I agree with you, Coach. I don't think anybody didn't play hard. I think everybody played hard.
Pretty hard.
But they got to execute. You got to execute these plays, man. You got to figure out a way to make it happen.
Yeah, and too many guys on the field.
Yeah.
Another, was that a punt team or so? Or a punt return, something like that. But, just some careless errors that we thought we were behind us. They reappeared.
Yep. I know, and that's the frustrating thing, I think, for a lot of fans. Let's talk a little bit about the rest of the SEC and what you saw this weekend. Obviously, That was a big win for Mississippi State, so that game got even harder.
They stormed the field, didn't they?
They did.
For beating Arizona State. In fact, us and Arizona State were the two ranked teams that went out of the top 25. So Mississippi State, they're all fired up. They're happy, and they could have a good year. They had a big win, and who knows what they can do after this?
Well, they only won one game in the conference last year, I think. So they need to have a good year, and I think Jeff Lebby's a good coach. So we'll see. But I mean, look, you know as well as I do that this is what the SEC is now. You've got to win the close games. They're all going to be close. There are going to be occasional games where people blow teams out. Even Ole Miss Kentucky came down to the last play of the game, you know. So I mean, South Carolina's done really well, but they need, you know, they got to go forward, and there's some big games this weekend. Certainly Tennessee, Georgia among them.
Tennessee, Georgia, and South Carolina, Vandy.
That's right.
Vandy came from behind and beat Virginia Tech. So they're a confident bunch up there.
They are, and I think
really
Clark Lee has got a good handle on how to be the Vanderbilt coach. And that's not everybody can do that. It's not the easiest thing in the world.
Well, it's a team, and you know, instead of don't say we're Vanderbilt, just say we're a good team. Yeah. And that's what he's done. Yep. Because he went out and got Pavia, the quarterback, and his coach. And Brent Venables now is a great coach too, because he got the Washington State coordinator and the quarterback from up there, Mateer. And he is a good player. He can run, he can pass, and when you know, everybody's got confidence in the offense, and the defense plays better. So Oklahoma, they'll be a factor this year, I really believe. And they had sort of a losing record last year. Were they 5-7?
I think they might have gone 6-7. Yeah, I think they lost their bowl game.
That's right. That's right. So you can get good in a hurry nowadays, picking up some ball players. And I'm watching some of these guys right now, and I don't know if Mateer at Oklahoma, does he have a 2 or 3 year deal at Oklahoma? Do you know?
I don't know. I think it's 2.
He's got a 1. He'll be open for bids next year. So it'll be interesting to see if these guys.
Boy, that's the thing. I was thinking about this, and I talked about it earlier. How you know, there's a bunch of agents out there right now saying, "Hey, we're going to poach these Florida players now because they've got talent, and we're going to, you know, it's not going to go well, and they're going to try to talk to them." And that is the sad part of college football.
And we did a pretty good job of keeping most of our guys because we had 8 returning starters on offense and defense, and that was the reason for such big hope. And we can still have a good year. Just remember that it's not all over right now. It was disappointing, but we can bounce back from this.
92, you lose to Tennessee and Mississippi State. Early.
And had a 1-2 record.
Everybody's like, well, I guess, you know, it's
third year.
Yeah.
That was our least talented team the third year, because when I got here, we were loaded, but they were all juniors and seniors. Yep. And we didn't recruit much at all the first year because we were under investigation. And then when we had a good first year, then we started recruiting a lot better and so forth. But 92, that team achieved so much for a team with just a bunch of first-year players. Yeah. So really proud of that team, as well as really all of them, all 12 years. We had teams competing for the SEC, the division and the SEC. And that 92 team won the division.
I know.
Yeah, we won it and almost upset Alabama in the first ever championship game.
You know, we had Eric Red on the radio the other day, and I forgot to ask him this because he was great. He was talking about how much he loved coming to Florida and everything. But where did you come up? Because I don't think you ran it much after that with that little shovel pass to him.
We didn't
in the Alabama game.
Yeah, we should have run it probably a little bit more. But it was just like a little draw trap. I think we blocked it, and it offset that rush they had.
It did.
Oh, they had 2 All-American defensive ends.
It was Copeland and I can't think of the other guy. But they had 2 great ones,
I mean, Shane had to take 5 hitch and throw quickly, and he could do it. He had one of the quickest releases anybody in the country. So we could get it off, and we didn't ask the O-line to block for 4 seconds or anything like that. And our quarterbacks didn't run around. You know, we took our steps and threw it somewhere. And, our 2000 team won the SEC, of course, in 2000, 25 years ago. And I talked to Jesse Palmer yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
I called him up and said, Jesse, I wish you could be here. But he did, I think he did the Oklahoma game, television,
Yeah.
Fox. I think he's
Yep.
with
Yep.
those guys. But anyway, I was talking to him about taking your steps and throwing the ball, and he could do that so well. I mean, he didn't hang around back there and this, that, and the other. So he was talking about when he did the Texas game, he was talking about how Arch Manning's fundamentals are not good right now, and they're not. But he needs to maybe get his uncles, Eli and Peyton, to come work
Yeah.
with him just a little bit. That's all he needs. But his fundamentals are off a little bit.
Yeah, Jesse, I never knew he was going to be a big star. Did you? When he was at Florida?
No, he had actually a little bit of a stuttering
He did?
problem. When
You
he got
guys hired
here.
somebody,
Yeah,
didn't you?
in Florida, we have a course where they teach you how to quit stuttering.
Yeah.
So he was no longer a stutterer. I remember we were playing Auburn, the game, and I put Noah Brandeis in.
Oh, yeah.
And Jesse started.
Yep.
Doug
True freshman.
Doug was
yeah.
out that game. And he threw an interception, and he went over there and just fell in front of the guy. He cut back and almost went for a touchdown, but we got him about 30, 40 yards down the field. So we're watching tape the next Monday. I said, Jesse, when you make a dumb play and throw an interception, at least tackle the guy or push him out of bounds. Just get him down, push him out of bounds.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking. I said, Jesse, have you ever tackled anybody in your life? He said, no, sir. I said, that's my fault. We'll do some tackling drills this week. So we learned how to pin them into the sideline and tackle. Because quarterbacks need to tackle every now and then.
Well, didn't he play like 8-man football up in Canada or something? It was.
Well, whatever, yeah. But
Yeah.
he had never tackled anybody. He didn't have any idea how to do it. So we started doing some tackling drills with our quarterbacks. And, of course, Danny, the 94 SEC championship game, our receiver was supposed to run a hitch, and for some reason he took off, and he got it picked off, and Danny got the guy out of bounds on about 7 or 8, and Alabama had to kick a field goal.
Yep.
If they score a touchdown, we don't win. That was that 24-23 game. So by holding those guys to field goal, we were able to win by that 1 point.
And that is what,
important, yeah.
it's what's important is holding people to field goals, and that's what USF did. They held Florida. I did want to ask you about the mechanics of DJ Lagway, because there were a couple, like the throw where he missed Livingston. His feet weren't set. He was, kind of.
He still hit
flitting
about,
around, yeah.
He still hit about 70%, I
Yeah.
think I read, but a lot of swing passes, a lot of this, that, and the other. But anyway, Baugh, our tailback, is a great running back. I wish we could get him 20 carries. And our other
18, but they
tailback,
need to get him more, yeah.
what's our other tailback?
Jacoby Jackson, yeah.
Jacoby's good too. Both those guys, man. I'd like to really see if we could get those guys going.
Just
A little
pound 'em,
bit more.
which is what I thought they
Yeah.
would do. Yeah, and then the start of the third quarter, they
yeah.
came out and threw 3 passes. So
Yeah, we start throwing those guys. You got to run straight at people, and then that just sets up the play action pass.
Yes.
And we got receivers and this, that, and the other. But it was not a good day for us. But hopefully we can learn from our mistakes and go beat LSU this week.
It was good to see Vernell Brown III have a big game too. That punt
Yeah.
return was great.
Yeah, he's a good player, very
Yep.
good player.
Yep, as a freshman. All right, you got anything else for us, Coach?
Not too much right now, I don't think. But we got to regroup. And hopefully our lousy game was early in the season, and our guys can get back on track.
Yeah.
So we'll find out this week. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned Mateer. Now he's there's some people that consider him the front runner for the Heisman. Now the front runner changes every week. I don't know why they keep saying it, because it's going to change next week too. Somebody else will be the front runner.
Yeah, Mateer will be. And I tell you, those quarterbacks that can run now are, they're important. South Carolina,
You had one, Connor Shaw. Yeah,
well,
he
Connor
could
was a
run the
good
ball,
runner,
yeah.
but Denoris Sellers,
he's-
South Carolina quarterback right now, might be the best running quarterback, and he's a good passer too.
Yep, he is.
Really is. So they play Vandy this week. That it might be Georgia and Tennessee will be the top game, and hopefully us and LSU. But Vandy and South Carolina is one of the
Yep.
big SEC games this year.
I think both
One
those
of
games, I think that game and the Florida game are both at night. So you got to get the two TVs
7:30.
out. Yeah. So, and then Georgia, Tennessee. How do you feel about that game? I
3:30.
think Georgia will be all right. at
Well,
that
I don't
game.
know. It's at Georgia, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know Georgia didn't look all that great. Tennessee has looked very good. And, of course, the one team, my old school in Johnson City, East Tennessee State, they had, 72 scored on them,
Yeah,
I
they
guess.
did.
But
I
think it'll be a
forgot
good
that
game.
was a Johnson City school.
I think Tennessee is much better off with this new quarterback than
they
the
were.
one they had. So, it's funny how that happens sometimes. You think this guy's the best in the world, and then all of a sudden another guy jumps in there
Not only that,
and
but
play better.
UCLA suspended their backup quarterback because he got arrested for something. I can't remember. I don't know what it was, but
Is that right?
So now he's got job security and money and everything. He's probably happy. The fans may not be happy,
Yeah.
but I don't know the UCLA fans. Are
Yeah,
that.
that's a big part of college football now is when that quarterback you gave $3 or $4 million to, it goes bad. Or now what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do now? Play the backup that maybe is getting 50,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it creates disunity on the team. The other players, well, he's getting all this money, he's not even playing. So you got to be careful who you give the money to. That's
right.
part of the game now.
And you were never afraid of switching quarterbacks out, but you weren't paying them.
We won the 2000 SEC championship because of two quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Jesse came in twice and relieved Rex. Rex was going bad against Georgia, and Jesse came in. We pulled that one out, and then the game in the swamp against South Carolina.
Yep.
We're down 21-3.
Yep.
Rex was struggling. I said, Jesse, you're in. Let's go. And we come back and win that one. So, yeah, it was a two-quarterback system that won our last SEC when I was coaching here in 2000.
Yeah, and of course he was a quarterback at Tennessee too when they won that
Yeah.
game on the
Hit Jabari
catch
Gaffney.
non-catch.
Mhm.
Yeah,
He had 4 wins, and Rex had 4 wins.
Yeah.
When you look it up.
it works.
Yeah, you can play
Two quarterbacks can work.
It's not illegal. I don't know why people think it won't work, but it works very well.
I don't know how much
Yeah.
coaches want to do that anymore because of the NIL. They're like, well, I'm paying this guy, I got to play
Yeah,
him.
yeah, they think they have to stick with one.
Yeah.
But our ACC championship at Duke, Billy Ray played in 3 wins, and then Dave Brown. Billy got hurt a little bit, and Dave Brown came in
Yep, Dave Brown.
and played the last 3 games. So each had 3 wins. And so neither one of them were the ACC Player of
right.
the Year.
That's right.
But we averaged over 500 yards of offense, and both of them played very well. Simple as that.
You had my guy Ben Bennett up there too. He was
In the early 80s, yeah.
He came to Jacksonville, and I got to know him really well.
Yeah.
Good dude.
He is. Yeah.
I liked him. He was funny. All right, it is time for our Campus USA Play of the Weekend. It is brought to you by Campus USA. They do a great job, and of course, Coach Spurrier is a spokesman for them as well, and he and I are both banked there. This was a great catch right here. His name is Tesla. Isaac Tesla. Tesla. Somebody said it wasn't Tesla, it's Tesla. Now that is... We've seen some unbelievable one-handed catches this year, but that was pretty good. Now, unfortunately for Detroit, they didn't win the game.
He found my belt.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, that was a good catch. Yeah, these one-hand catches have become popular.
Yeah.
And these players have such big hands and natural athletes. They can all do it.
Yep, they're really good.
Yeah.
All right, we'll
They're
let
good.
Coach go. We'll be back with Robbie Andreu for Yes, No, Where, Maybe. After we take this break on another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging from the Meldon Law Gator Studios.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
Adams Rib Company has been a staple of Gainesville for more than a decade and a staple of the Dooley house ever since Kelsey's teeth came in. The first time I walked into Adams, I told my daughter that the green beans are always a test of a great barbecue restaurant, and they were perfect. You know about the ribs that melt in your mouth, and my favorite, the turkey plate. But be sure to go in on Fridays for Nana's Fish Nuggets. They will melt in your mouth. Adams Rib Co., a Gainesville great.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't. Our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured.
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
And our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
At Royal Blue, we believe our resumes as yacht brokers consist of not only the type of boats we list, but also the condition of those boats as well. If you see a boat listed as a sale with Royal Blue Yacht Sales, you can have faith that it will be very well kept and in extremely good condition. Passionate about delivering exceptional boating experiences in Florida, Royal Blue excels in tailoring boat buying for selling solutions to fit your needs. With 15 years in prior boat sales experience and over $65 million in sales, Royal Blue is devoted to making your boat ownership a dream reality. Call us today to schedule a consultation to see what Royal Blue can do to solve all of your boating needs. Call Randy at 850-974-1294. Okay, welcome back to another Duly Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We loved having Coach Spurrier on. Now we're going to have the great Robbie Andreu on. We had a good time at the tailgate that you had over there at, what's the name of that church?
The United Church of Gainesville.
Okay.
It's a
you had
great
to think
setup.
about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm old, Pat, but shade, restroom, you're gold.
Well, that was the key. You had shade. Where we were, even with tents up, it was brutal. I mean, the humidity,
was really hot.
was crazy, but
it was a sweat fest on Saturday, no question.
It was, and I'm sure it was in the stands too. As a season ticket holder, I'm sure you were not happy with the result. But who got it worse? You watching the game or me paying $72 for a bike ride?
Oh, that's a really tough question, Pat. I mean, I would have paid $72 not to go into the stadium if I'd known what was going to happen. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, everybody kept asking me before the game, how do you think it's going to go? What do you think? And I go, well, look, they've got their attention. They'll be fine. They'll be ready to go. Got to play a clean game, though. Didn't play a clean game.
That was anything but clean.
Yeah. All right, it is time for Yes, Nowhere, maybe with Robbie Andreu. We do this every Monday. It's brought to you by Big Mill's Cheesesteaks, street dining done the right way. Our good friend Keith Miller over there at Big Mill's Cheesesteak does a great job. The food is unbelievable over there, and I will tell you that as somebody who goes there often. Also, if you go there and say you listen to the podcast, free fries with the order. By the way, I would imagine today, Robbie, our podcast will probably do record numbers because Florida lost, and it's almost like, okay, that's the one. The one positive is the radio is going to be lit up, but I mean, it's still not a fun time.
Yeah, your radio show today with Jeff is going to be crazy.
Oh.
I mean, you're going to be lined up all afternoon to get in there and complain about everything that's going on.
I did listen to a little bit of Russell in the post game, and it was, and like nobody made a bad point. Nobody did the whole time.
No. Florida fans
right.
have seen enough of this sad crap that's going on.
Yes, I agree with you. Okay, here we go with Yes, Nowhere, maybe with Robbie Andreu. Number one, the Gators make a bowl game this year. Weren't we talking playoffs a week ago?
Yeah, we were. But I don't see, based on what I saw Saturday and the week before, I don't see how they're going to win more than 4 games, Pat, when you look at the schedule. I mean, who are they going to beat? Maybe Mississippi State?
Maybe Mississippi State. Yeah, beat Arizona
When
State.
are they going to get 5 more wins with the schedule they have to play now? I mean, basically the season's over in week 2.
I said this in the first segment. I don't know that I can find another win on the schedule, let alone, the 10 that I thought they might win this year, or 9.
Yeah.
But again, if they play like that, I don't know that they can win another game.
And he can't save his job if they keep playing like they did the other night. It was unbelievable.
No, it was pretty bad. All right, let's get to number 2 on yes, no, where, maybe. Robbie, have you ever spit on anybody in the heat of battle?
No way, Pat. I've never spit on anybody not in the heat of battle. I mean, that is one of the most disgusting things you can do to another person. So insulting and so ridiculous what he did, especially after Jalen Carter did it on national TV.
Exactly.
Then he goes out and does it here at the end of the game when every yard is precious there.
The irony or coincidence, I don't know if it's irony or coincidence, Karen always corrects me on this, is that he was playing a great game up to that point. He was involved in all these different tackles and pressures and stuff. He was, the kid, he's from Baylor. But look, and I laugh about this sometimes, but I laugh disgustingly for DJ Lagway to say, well, that doesn't define his character. And I say, well, it's part of the definition, right? You spit on a guy.
Your actions define your character. Like you said, he spit on a guy. That's part of his character.
I've never spit on anybody. I've never even, I don't even spit that much. I'm not like the Tim Walton, where you're spitting all the time. But again, he's not spitting on people. Anyway.
I'm not a spitter either, Pat. Never will be. So.
Yep. It's good to know. It's good that if I'm going to come to another one of your tailgates, it's good to know you won't spit on me.
You're safe, Pat. Believe me.
All right, By the way, I had a great time there, seeing Gordo and Karen and obviously Greg and Tim and you and Jill. We had a blast coming over there.
It was good, Pat. That was the best part of the day.
Yeah, it cost us a lot of money, but we'll expect to be reimbursed.
How did you have that much cash on you, Pat, to pay that?
I had brought a bunch of cash thinking we were going to do some other things that we didn't do. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. But you know what that guy basically did to you, Pat? Spit in your face.
He did. He spit on me. He spit on me. And then he said, by the way, I'm jinxing Florida for this game.
Yeah, you're going to get a big L later on today.
Yeah. All right, number 3 on yes, nowhere, maybe with Robbie Andreu. Florida's sellout streak ends with the Mississippi State game. Because Texas is sold out.
Oh, yeah.
But Mississippi State is the one time I think it could end.
Yeah, it will end, Pat, because there are going to be a lot of empty seats in that game because chances are in a month they're going to be 1-5 heading into that game. Yeah. And by then, who knows? Is Napier still going to be the coach? There's no way they're going to sell that game out. The only draw could be it might be the only other game they could win this year. That might draw fans, but not enough to sell it out. And people are tired of watching this, Pat. I'm sitting in the stands the other night calling every play that Florida's going to run, and it's the same crap every time. And you look at USF, they spread the field with 4 and 5 wideouts. And what does Florida do with their archaic offense? Line up with 2 tight ends every series. It's unbelievable. It's old and tired. The offense is terrible.
Not only that, Robbie.
You know what else is killing it? The fact that Lagway didn't practice in the spring or in camp, and he's so rusty now.
Absolutely.
He
had that touchdown on the first possession. That was a touchdown. Yeah. All he's got to do is throw a decent pass. It's a touchdown.
Yeah.
It's, maybe because you didn't work with this guy enough. Yeah. And again,
you have two tight ends in the game. How are you going to spread the field out with 2 tight ends, Pat?
I don't know, Robbie.
It's mind-boggling to me.
I am like you.
It's so predictable. The play
I think there were times when they called good plays and they just didn't execute. Or in the case of Hayden Hansen, that was a bull crap call. That was a bad call.
Well, it was a terrible call.
Yeah. But other than that, all the other 10 penalties were legitimate calls. So, anyway. All right, I'll let you go.
How is this for a good call? Trying to trap a USF 300-pound defensive tackle with a 180-pound wide receiver. Wilson.
It
I mean, come
doesn't
on.
work very well. Yeah.
Did they think that would work when they drew it up? Unreal.
Maybe not. Maybe they said, "Hey, here's a way we can lose this game."
Or maybe he just blocked the wrong guy or tried to.
Yeah, it's just like DJ. I mean, throwing on first down was so stupid, but this is what I've been talking about, is that he obviously checked out to that, but you shouldn't check out to that.
No.
You shouldn't have the option to check out. You go run the ball for 3 plays. Let's take as much time as we can off the clock. We clearly aren't going to do anything offensively.
No.
Let's try to do something. Let's kick, run. Hopefully we get a first down. If we don't, we don't.
Yeah, and Pat, here's one more thing that bothers me. What happened to scared money don't make money? 4th and 3 on the USF 30, and he brings up the frickin' field goal team again? Come on.
I said the same thing. Actually, Buddy Martin leaned over to me and said, "What do you think they'll do?" I go, "I'd go for it." He goes, "No, I'd kick the field goal." I go, No, I'd go for it. Scared money is scared money is making money because he gets $7 million a year. So
yeah, absolutely.
All right, Robbie, we vented
It'll be a fun
enough.
week, Pat. Fun week on the radio for us.
All right, buddy, we'll see you later. Okay.
Okay. See you, Pat.
All right. Okay, we always love having Robbie on. Had a lot of fun at his tailgate over there. Saw Tim and Gordo and Karen. We had a good time. I had a lot of fun before the game. And I had a lot of fun watching the game for a while. Just being in the press box again. You know, I don't go to every game in the press box, but I go to a lot of games. And the people, I will say this, the people at UF treat me unbelievably well for a guy who's not writing a lot. Although if you want to go read my back nine, it's pretty biting today. And it's a lot of the things I'm saying here, but I came down pretty hard on everybody. I think every human being in the world. Not all you Gator fans. Like I said, you guys don't deserve this. 14 straight sellouts. You sat in that brutal heat and humidity and cheered your team on and had an unbelievable I won't back down. Electric. Place was going nuts. And your team let you down. Most importantly, your coaches let you down. And that's the way I look at it. That's where I am. That's where I am today. See what happens tomorrow. All right. Let's get to our Adams Ribco Gator of the Weekend. Brought to you by Adams Rib Company, the place to go for all the greatest ribs you can ever imagine. I am so hungry. I may go there today. I may go. I usually wait till Friday and go get the Nana's fish nuggets, but I may go get some ribs today. Our Gator of the Weekend, brought to you by Adams Ribco, is Ricky Pearsall. Certainly wasn't going to be a Florida player, but a former Florida player. I was going to make it Shamir Dike, but he ran back a kickoff for 70 yards. In fact, I retweeted that, and I was going to make that our play of the weekend, but I saw that catch, so I had to do that. Anyway, Ricky Pearsall, I watched a lot of that game. 4 catches for 108 yards, and they beat the Seahawks 17-13, but he had a big game, and he was really good. It was so much fun to watch him do well. Appreciate Ricky. Good dude. Signed my thing for my golf tournament. That was really great. Appreciate him. All right, let's get to our Leonardo's and Millhopper quick pick. We're about ready to pull a winner. Chicken dinner. Maybe Thursday? Why not? Let's do it Thursday. So we'll pick a winner Thursday. We got a lot of good qualifiers. A lot of you qualified this weekend. Here's your pick this week. It's a Thursday night game, so we can't do it Thursday. We have to do it Monday. How about that? We'll do it Monday. Thursday night game. Green Bay -4 at home against Washington. So Packers, Commanders, that's all you got to do is just send it to patrickdooley54@gmail.com. Also, if any of you are interested in being a sponsor of one of these great segments that we have here, this is the time. We're going to get more clicks than we usually get. I mean, we got it last year when they started. Remember, they started 1 and 2. Click, 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 click. Everybody wanted to listen to the show to hear what we had to say and what Coach had to say. So it's a good time to get on board right now. It's almost better when the Gators are losing. I hate to say that. I don't like it. I hate it. I despise it. It's not fun. But for calls and stuff like that, it's almost better. But I don't want it to be better. I want them to go undefeated. Anyway, I'm mad. You can tell I'm angry. I'm angry. That was a bad Saturday, man. That was a bad Saturday. All right, let's get to our BMI TeleMed Overachiever of the Weekend, which is brought to you by our good friends at BMI TeleMed, 727-383-1677. We've mentioned this before, achieve and maintain, but we've also mentioned that people that have come to them from our show have lost over 500 pounds so far, and that includes me. I'm happy to be where I am. People say I look skinny, but I always go less fat is what I am. You used to remember me when I weighed a lot. Anyway, our BMI TeleMed Overachiever of the Weekend is going to be different for you, but it's my friend Jeff Darlington. We need to get Jeff back on the show. He's become such a big deal, it's hard to get him. And of course, this time of year. But Jeff Darlington just signed a new deal with ESPN and is going to be, continue to do golf, tennis, and NFL, which is his expertise. And the reason he's our Overachiever of the Weekend is, I don't know how many of you know this, but he interned under me at the Gainesville Sun. Now, I wasn't the sports editor, but I was kind of in charge of Jeff. And I didn't need to be in charge of him. He was way too smart for me. But he did unbelievably great work for us. In fact, there was one story I didn't want to handle. It had to do with a softball player and accusing somebody of being anti-gay and everything. I go, Jeff, this is a good story for you to cut your teeth on. I didn't want to deal with it. I chickened out of it. And he did a great job with it. And he obviously, I hope I helped him in some ways. I know I helped some people, Brandon Zimmerman, people like that. But I hope I helped him. But the bottom line is, if he overcame me, that's what makes him an overachiever. So he is our Overachiever of the Week, Jeff Darlington from ESPN. Let's get to our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the Weekend. And we appreciate our friends at Gallo Car Wash. Place to go to get your car done. It is where my daughter goes all the time with her new car. I said, I can just wash it. No, got to go to Gallo, man. It's the best place to go. Let's do it. All right, let's get to our Sponge of the Weekend, and it is the Florida Gators. You know why it's the Florida Gators? Somehow Florida sponged up 70 points in the AP poll and 68 in the coaches poll. Who is voting for them? Did you watch the game? Why would you put Florida in your top 25? I'm sorry. They don't deserve to be there. They've lost to South Florida and beat Long Island. I will say this, Long Island did win this weekend. I don't know if you know that or not. Big scoop there. Look, that makes you a sponge when you're getting votes that you don't deserve. In fact, Florida is 29th in the AP poll. I don't want them to be. I said this when they were ranked high earlier. I don't want them to be ranked. I want them to be out of the poll until they beat somebody. Now, maybe they can go beat somebody. All right. That is our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the Weekend. I may have lost my sponsors for saying Florida's the Sponge of the Weekend, but I know the people at Gallo are great people, and I don't have to worry about that. Let's get to our Los Linderos. Speaking of great people, Los Linderos Smart Move of the Weekend, brought to you by Los Linderos Tequila. Go beyond. My favorite and Urban Meyer's favorite tequila. What's the most games Urban Meyer ever lost here? 4? I think it's 4. Yeah. I think you see where I'm going here. All right, so the Los Linderos Smart Move of the Weekend was me. Me on Saturday night. I'm watching football. I've done all my work, and I start to watch games on 2 TVs. I'm thinking about going to the 3rd TV, and I went, you know what? Turn them all off. I can't watch this. Go to bed. Just go to bed. Enjoy the night. Have a good night's sleep. You're tired. You've been sweating all day. You've already taken a shower, but you're sweating all. Just go to bed. And I missed some really good games, but I didn't need to be exposed to college football. So that was a smooth move. And I had to deal with any of the post game because my wife's out there, her sister's out there, her husband, great people, but I did not want to deal with any of it. Smooth move, going to bed. Wish I could have slept today. All right, let's get to our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Brought to you by our good friends at Hesser and Kipke. Of course, they do a tremendous job with their attorneys at law with workers' compensation and family law. 352-339-9920. In fact, I think I have a Ken Hesser birthday party to go to this weekend. I could do that instead of watching the Gators. I got to grade them still. I got to still give them a grade. By the way, the grade was F for flop this weekend. All right, number 1 was Alcaraz, who I remember when Alcaraz won his first major, and I went, is that Carlos Alvarez? Are they saying Carlos? No, Carlos Alcaraz. Okay. All right, I get you. But anyway, that was his first major. Now he's won his 6th major. Beat Skinner yesterday, or Sinner, I'm sorry. Yeah, I have trouble with Jacob Sinner's name. And the funny thing is, I should know it because he's the guy who always seems to knock Ben Shelton out of the tournament. But anyway, he's the dominant player in the game, and so good for him. It's great. He's great. I'm just not as much into tennis as I used to be, but still I will respect great talent, and he is one of the best to ever play. Let's get to number 2 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things, and that is Aaron Rodgers had a pretty good game yesterday against his old team and really threw them under the bus when he talked about how Aaron Glenn said I couldn't play anymore. I guess I showed him, and it was vintage Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he still has talent. Yeah, we'll see how he does over the long haul of the season. It's weird for me because I loved Aaron Rodgers, then I didn't like him. And now he's playing for the Steelers, who I kind of like, and I know Zach loves the Steelers, and I kind of like the Steelers, but I don't like him, but he's playing against the Jets, who I don't like at all. So I'm like watching the game, I'm like, whatever happens, happens. Anyway, that was good for him to 4 touchdown passes against his old team, who told him he couldn't play anymore. It's kind of like Michael P. Ryan when he ran that touchdown against Auburn. And everybody's like, he after the game, he goes, they said I wasn't fast enough. Nobody caught me. All right, let's get to number 3 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things, and that is the one coach in this state, other than Billy Napier, who's on a hot seat, is Mike McDaniel at Miami. Of course, a lot of people are ready to cut him loose after one game. Now, they were bad yesterday. Watch some of the game. Again, here's the thing. I do want to say this. Mike McDaniel, I never understood that hire in the first place. And they're going to probably stick with him for a while, but let's just see how it goes. I think he's done after this year, at some point this year. But I watched a lot. I keep saying I watched a lot of that game because I did watch the Red Zone because the Red Zone was free on the first Sunday of the week of the year. Sorry. So I watched it, and there were all these commercials, which we talked about before, that they were going to put commercials on the Red Zone. And I went, man, I was going to say before that you guys convinced me not to buy this. Now I can tell you 100%. I am not buying it. The commercials just ruin everything. And so, okay, maybe you guys are going to make a lot of money on this. You're not making my money. I can just tell you that. Anyway, Mike McDaniel, I think it's toast. All right, let's move along. I'm sure he loves hearing that. Some guy in Gainesville said you were fired. It's like Howard Stern. My wife comes to me, she goes, hey, Howard Stern got fired by Sirius. And I'm like, no, I don't think he did. They love him. And it turned out there was a story written by somebody who said that the people there are mad at him because they don't like him. But it was people on their staff. And Howard who came back today, spent his whole 30 minutes that I was in the car just talking about it. Anyway, he got a little bit ornery, so we'll see. Anyway, let's move along to our Mark Gaida, Pepin Realty present the 12. And the 12 changes every week because you know how college football is, man. It's unscripted. And we appreciate Mark Gaida and Pepin Realty for sponsoring the 12. Here's my 12. Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Oregon. Number 3, LSU. Number 4, Georgia. Number 5, Penn State. Number 6, Miami. Now, and Miami didn't do anything special this weekend, but, I mean, they've got that big win already. Number 7, I hate to do this, but FSU. Look, I know you scored, what did they score, 77 against East Tennessee Jacksonville Junior College, whatever team it was. But you got to go back to the first game. You've done everything you need to do to be in my top 12. I'll tell you that. Number 8, Iowa State, which I think may be the only, other than UNLV might be a 3-0, but Iowa State's 3-0. Tennessee at 9. Again, we'll see what happens with them in Georgia this week. One team is going to drop out, I can tell you that. USF at number 10. Look, USF is in position to win that conference, and they'll get in the playoff. Oklahoma at 11. Big win for Oklahoma, and South Carolina at number 12. Now, did I drop South Carolina a little bit? Yeah. But it's just because teams jumped up ahead of them. It doesn't matter. It's my 12. 12's going to change next week. I promise you that. Georgia's playing Tennessee. It's going to change. We know that. All right, that is our Mark Guida Presents the 12, brought to you by Pepin Realty. We appreciate them. Let's move along to our Gainesville Quarterback Club segment. It'll be interesting. Tuesday night, the scheduled speaker is Scott Strickland. I think he'll be there. I haven't heard that he won't be there. Let me check my phone again. It's probably not going to be, there are messages here. So let me make sure, okay. No, it's fine. But remember that he canceled on me last year after they lost to Miami. I don't think that it means he doesn't want to talk about it. It just means that he had to deal with a lot of things. I love Scott. He got that extension over the weekend. He's going to be the guy here. He needs to figure it out. I can't understand why Florida can't figure it out. After Urban Meyer, think about the hires, and 2 of them were Jeremy, 2 of them were Scott. This hasn't worked out. Why can't Florida get it right? You've got the resources. You've got the fan base. You've got everything you need here. Figure it out. Maybe I'll ask Scott that question. Anyway, hopefully he'll be there. And, of course, last week, I mentioned this before, Alex Brown gave one of the great talks of all time. It was really great. So I enjoyed it very much. Anyway, the Gainesville Quarterback Club, you still need to become a member. Just because the Gators are bad doesn't mean they're bad. They have a great time. We always have a good time going there. Food's great at the Best Western. The speakers are great. I know we Kevin Carter, Will Muschamp. There's a lot of guys come to speak. Speaking of hires that didn't work out, so it'll be fun. We'll see what goes on there at the Gainesville Quarterback Club, the oldest club in the world. All right, let's move along. Not the oldest club in the world, the oldest Gator club in the world. It may be the oldest club in the world. It could be the Shriners, could be the leader, the Elks. But it's, anyway, it's a lot of great people that I love very much. I can tell you that much. Let's move along to our MyBookie segment. MyBookie.ag is the place to go to place all your bets. You get great deals there. And I appreciate MyBookie.ag. And the bet I am going to make, I've not done well so far this year. I got to be honest with you. But I'm going to make the Bears getting 1.5 tonight. Now, I know that by the time you listen to this, probably the game's over. I'm going to get the Bears getting 1.5 at home against the Vikings. I'll be rooting for the Vikings, though. But if I got money on the line, I guess I'll root for the Bears. We'll have to figure it out. But that is from mybookie.ag. And all of our spreads are brought to you by mybookie.ag. And all the spreads you see in my picking column in the at WRUF.com on the back nine are also. In fact, I just got a compliment about my back nine, which is already up if you want to go read it. I think I'm a little more bitter in the back nine than I was when I'm writing than I am when I'm talking. But I can be bitter if you want me to. Let us move along to our last thing, which we always finish up with, which is our Swamp Restaurant Games of the Week. And we appreciate our friends at the Swamp Restaurant. Kyle and Ryan do a great job there. And I wasn't able to be there Thursday. I was in Palaca. And, of course, we're only there on home games, so we'll be there for the Texas game and look forward to that. I look forward to being there. I'm not sure I'm looking forward to the Texas game. Again, very bitter right now. Let's talk about our games of the weekend. Obviously, tonight you have the Monday Night Football game, Minnesota at Chicago. That's 8:15 on NBC. On ABC. Tuesday, Florida volleyball at North Carolina. North Carolina, I know, was receiving votes in the poll. I'm not sure how good they are. Turns out Ohio State's not very good in volleyball, or at least what isn't this year. So Florida drilled them. But that'll be fun to watch. 7 o'clock, it's on the ACC network. So if you want to watch Florida volleyball, which is off to a good start this year. We do have a couple of Thursday night games that we want to get to. Thursday, NC State at Wake Forest. How much does that do for you? ESPN. That's a 7 o'clock game. And then Washington at Green Bay is the NFL game, 8:15 on Prime. I did watch that game on Prime Video last week. Or no, it was on YouTube last week. I did watch it. Turns out I do get the YouTube channel. So I did watch it. So, all right. That's going to do it for another show. We appreciate you guys so much. We're getting close to 500. We're getting down the road towards 500. I got to get a special guest for that. I'm trying to figure out who it'll be. Billy Napier. I don't think he'll come on here. All right, that's going to do it for the show. Thanks to Zach for doing a great job as he always does, the best producer in the business. Thanks to Coach Spurrier for being here. Thanks to Robbie for being on. Again, hopefully Thursday we'll have Peter Burns. If not, then we'll get somebody else great. We'll be back then. Until then, I am Pat Dooley for another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. And I am deep, I am way back, and I am way out of here.